Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright people, bit of breaking news. Do you know something, right? I was going to say I'm very happy to be reporting on this, but it was Mike Coppinger who broke the story. So take this with a grain of salt, but the fact that the news is breaking, the fact that it's even in limbo says to me that there might be even a fraction of this might actually be true, right? It's that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are close to agreeing a deal. It's being reported by Mike Coppinger. Now, as I said, with Coppinger, sometimes he's alright, sometimes he's way off. Mike Coppinger to me is like a kid in school who's always exaggerating things. You know, he turn around and say like, oh, my dad, he's got a special talent. You meet the dad, what's your talent? Is it special? It is, yeah. I'm overweight and haven't seen my toes since 1990. Bet your dad can't claim that. Ugh, that's your talent. Didn't say it was a good one. That's something like Coppinger, right? Now, we'll talk about this just in case, because this could, you never know. I mean, I've seen worse rumours come out, but if this is true, if there is talk between these two guys, then people, you don't know how happy I am, because I really, genuinely, I mean, there was a time when it was Anthony Joshua with Deontay Wilder, it's about 2018, and Spence Crawford. They were the two fights people were talking about, and I genuinely, hand on my heart, and you know me, absolutely love the heavyweights. It is and always will be my favourite division. I just love the heavyweights, but this fight right here I wanted to see before, and I kind of was sad in many ways after Errol Spence's crash, because I was thinking, have we lost the best of him? But having seen how we looked against Yordenis Ugas, I think no, we still have a very good Spence. And interestingly, Crawford's not getting any younger. You know, he's not. And have we maybe seen the best of Terence Crawford? Potentially. But I still think this fight is absolutely fantastic. If we could get this over the line, it will be undisputed at welterweight. There hasn't been, God almighty, I mean, not in the 4-belt era, there hasn't been an undisputed welterweight champion. I'm trying to think of the last 3-belt one. Jeez, sometimes I'm good at thinking off the top of my head, but this time I'm struggling here. Mayweather was never undisputed. Who was last undisputed? Was Vernon Forrest? No, it wasn't Vernon Forrest. I'll be all day thinking about who was the last undisputed champion at welterweight. But regardless of that fact, it might have been Tio Trinidad. But anyway, either way, we're looking to get this undisputed fight. I think this fight is just fantastic, because if you look at the welterweight division, you do have everyone there. Some of the guys, you know, like Keith Thurman, Yordenis Ugas, you got the up-and-comers like Ortiz, Boots Ennis, who has tremendous talent, and then you have Crawford and Spence. And it's a real case of, this is the best that we have to offer, and these are the elite. Like, they are just up there, you know. And that's the good thing about welterweight, is that there's always been that. It's the one thing about welterweight. It's always been that division where the cream rise to the occasion. The cream tend to come to the surface, because if you look at the welterweight division 10 years ago, I mean, you would have said that people like Miguel Cotto, who was still welterweight, I believe, at the time, he might have just been going into or transitioning into 154, but he was I think he fought Floyd, it was at welterweight. You would have had guys like Miguel Cotto, you know, I'm just trying to think, DeMarcus Coley was around there, people like that, you know, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, like 10 years ago, who were the top guys at welterweight. But then you had Mayweather and Pacquiao, you know. At one stage you had, you know, in the 90s, Tito Trinidad and De La Hoya. I mean, they were just head and shoulders. Although saying that, you had guys like Vernon Forrest, and I know Sugar Shane Mosley, when he moved up, was kind of in around there. But it's always had these kind of, you know, fighters at the top or upper echelons, and we love seeing them get it on. I think this fight, if it does happen, it's a fight that I think boxing needs. I think boxing needs this fight, because we have Canelo versus Golovkin coming up, the trilogy fight. I'll take that fight for what it is. As I said, I don't think it's as big as it was a couple of years ago, but nevertheless, I'll take it. It'll get eyes on the sport. And if we could have this on top of that in 2022, for me, it's a step forward for boxing, because it's the one thing that us boxing fans, we complain about, and it happens, you know. There's no ways, but it happens, and there's a variety of reasons why it happens. But we don't get the big fights. We get big fights, but not the fights where we really want. Like, we probably, if AJ loses to Usyk, we may never get to see Usyk versus Fury. We may never get to see AJ versus Fury. We will probably never get to see AJ versus Wilder. Right? It's just the way it's. I was gonna swear, but it's the way it is. Because of a lot of things, politics, egos and stuff like that. If that can be put aside, and obviously now that Crawford is no longer with Bob Arum, it opens this fight up a lot more. If we can get this fight over the line and made it, I will be so bloody pleased. Because I think it's tremendous. I know Boots Ennis was calling for Errol Spence. I think Boots Ennis is the next one of them in terms of he will be in the upper echelons, as in like over the world, he will be in the elite. But these two guys need to get it on. They really do. And I really like this fight. I hope to God Mike Coppinger's reporting is legitimate and it's close to being finalised, and we do get this fight at the end of the day. You know, I think with Crawford, I think if he really wants this fight, he really has to believe it. And look, I like Crawford, I do, but Errol Spence coming in with 3 of the 4 belts. You do have to give some leeway, or you probably will have to compromise something in order to get this. Whether it's a case of, well, I want 50-50, but look, I'll take the 60-40. That's how confident I am that I can beat you. And if he does fight Errol Spence, I know Errol Spence has said he's only got one more fight at welterweight realistic before he goes to 154, but say there's a rematch clause, which I would imagine there will be, and it's a good competitive fight, does good numbers, maybe it's a close decision, Errol Spence might look and say, I'll go back in, and in which case then Crawford, he'll be the guy who can call the shots, provided he wins now, of course. Or even if he doesn't, even if it's a good competitive fight, Errol Spence might just think, you know what, I'll run it back. I've beaten him once, I'll beat him again. So I like, or they could do it at 154, potentially. So I like this fight, I really do. I hope to God Coppinger is not coming out with you know what, and, you know, giving us all false hope. But why do I get the feeling that this time I reckon it might be legit. I reckon this time it might actually be for real. I think we might actually get this fight yet. I'm hoping that I'm right, and I'm hoping Coppinger is reporting correctly this time. I'm hopeful. For now, I'll leave you with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Smash the like button if you could. I hope you're all keeping well. For now, lads and lasses, I'll talk to you. Peace.